Dr. Lisa Murphy rubbed her tired eyes as she stared at the computer screen. It was 3 in the morning, and the radio telescope had been quiet all night. She worked alone at the facility, listening for signals from space like scientists had done for over 100 years. Most nights brought nothing but static and the usual cosmic noise. Then something changed. The computer started beeping frantically. Data flooded across her screens faster than she had ever seen before. Lisa's heart raced as she watched the numbers. This was not random noise from a distant star. This was a signal, and it was clearly made by someone intelligent. The message came in basic mathematics at first, simple equations that any smart species would understand. Then it shifted to physics formulas and star charts. Lisa's hands shook as she recorded everything. After decades of searching, humanity had finally received a message from another intelligent species. But as she decoded more of the signal, Lisa realized this was not a friendly greeting. The mathematics painted a picture of destruction. Star systems were being consumed. Entire worlds were dying. The message contained tactical data showing massive fleets being destroyed by something the aliens called the Void Swarm. The final part of the transmission was the most shocking. It was a plea for help, sent to a planet the aliens called Sol 3, Earth. They were asking humanity to save them. Lisa immediately called her supervisor, then the government. Within hours, the small radio facility was swarming with military officials and scientists. Captain Jake Williams arrived with a team of codebreakers from Earth Defense Force. He was a career soldier with gray hair and sharp eyes that had seen too much combat. "Are you sure this is real?" Jake asked Lisa as they reviewed the data together. "The mathematics are perfect," Lisa replied. "No human could fake this level of detail about distant star systems." The signal came from the direction of the Kepler 442 system, exactly where their star charts say it should come from. Admiral Kate Rodriguez flew in from Earth Defense Command headquarters. She was known throughout the military as a brilliant strategist who never backed down from a fight. Kate studied the alien data for hours, cross-referencing it with Earth's limited knowledge of nearby star systems. "This void swarm," Kate said to her staff. "According to their tactical reports, it has already consumed 3 solar systems. Their most powerful ships are being destroyed like toys." The alien data showed the enemy as a massive collection of dark machines that moved like liquid metal. They seemed to absorb other ships and use their materials to build more of themselves. The Galactic Council had thrown everything they had at the swarm, but nothing worked. Jake examined the tactical displays that came with the message. "Look at these alien ship designs," he said. "Everything is built for efficiency and precision. Their weapons are designed to disable, not destroy. They fight like they are trying to preserve something," Kate agreed, "like they believe in honor and rules in warfare." Dr. Richard Hayes, Earth's leading expert on military technology, joined the emergency meeting via video link. He had spent his career designing weapons and defenses for humanity's wars. His analysis of the alien technology was troubling. "Their ships are more advanced than ours in many ways," Richard said, "but they are built like peacekeeping vessels, not warships. They have powerful shields and precise energy weapons, but they seem to avoid using maximum destructive force." Admiral Rodriguez studied the data quietly. She thought about humanity's own military doctrine, developed through centuries of brutal warfare on Earth. Humans had learned to fight differently than these aliens. When humanity went to war, they fought to win completely, no matter the cost. "Sir," Jake said to Kate, "what if we are the only species in the galaxy that knows how to fight a real war?" The room fell silent. The alien data showed 12 different civilizations, all more advanced than humanity, all working together against the Void Swarm. But they were losing badly. Their combined fleets could not stop an enemy that seemed to grow stronger with every battle. President Martinez was briefed on the situation within 6 hours of the first signal. The decision he faced was enormous. Earth had just learned they were not alone in the universe, and immediately they were being asked to join a galactic war. How long would it take to reach them? The president asked Kate during their emergency video conference. "With our fastest ships, about 2 weeks," Kate replied. "But sir, we would need to send everything we have. This is not a small conflict. The alien data shows the Void Swarm has millions of units." Lisa continued monitoring the alien signals throughout the day. More messages came, each one more desperate than the last. The Galactic Council was sending updates on their losses. Entire fleets were being wiped out. Populated planets were being consumed by the dark machines. The final message that day was the most urgent. The Void Swarm had broken through the alien defensive lines and was heading toward their most important worlds. The Council estimated they had maybe 2 weeks before complete defeat. President Martinez made his decision that evening. In a secret meeting with military leaders, he authorized the launch of Earth's entire deep space fleet. Every warship humanity had built for defense against unknown threats would be sent to help these aliens. "Are we sure we can trust them?" the president asked Kate. "No," Kate admitted. "But if this Void Swarm wins, they might come for Earth next. Better to fight them there than here." As news of the decision spread through military channels, humanity began the largest mobilization in their history. Ships that had been designed for defending Earth would instead travel to distant stars to fight an enemy they had never seen. Jake Williams was promoted to lead the ground forces that would accompany the fleet. His job was to prepare for the possibility that ship-to-ship combat would not be enough. If the Void Swarm could be fought on the ground, humanity would be ready. Dr. Hayes worked frantically to adapt human weapons for space combat against an unknown enemy. The alien data suggested that conventional energy weapons were not effective against the swarm. Humanity would need to find a different approach. Admiral Rodriguez took command of the entire operation. As she looked at the star charts showing the location of the alien distress signals, she felt the weight of responsibility. Humanity was about to reveal itself to the galaxy in the middle of the greatest war in galactic history. The alien message had changed everything. Earth was no longer alone, but their new neighbors were dying. Soon, humanity would discover if their way of warfare could succeed where alien precision and honor had failed. The countdown to launch began, and with it, humanity's first step into a larger universe. The launch from Earth orbit was unlike anything humanity had ever attempted. 200 warships of various sizes lifted off from secret military bases around the planet. Admiral Kate Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the UES Defiance, watching through the view screen as her fleet assembled in space. The Defiance was humanity's largest warship, stretching over 1 kilometer in length. Its hull was thick armor plating designed to survive direct hits from nuclear weapons. Along its sides, rows of missile tubes and railgun turrets gave it a menacing appearance that would frighten any enemy. Behind the Defiance, other ships took their positions. Heavy cruisers with massive gun turrets, destroyers built for speed and firepower, and carriers loaded with fighter squadrons. Every vessel had been designed with one goal in mind: to destroy the enemy completely. Lieutenant Commander Alex Chen sat in his fighter cockpit aboard the carrier UES Thunder. He commanded Fighter Squadron Omega, the best pilots in the Earth Defense Force. Their ships were called Valkyries, and they looked nothing like the elegant alien fighters shown in the Council data. Human fighters were built like flying tanks. They had thick armor plating and powerful engines that could push them through enemy fire. Instead of energy weapons, they carried kinetic cannons that fired solid metal slugs at incredible speeds. The philosophy was simple: if you hit something hard enough, it would break. "All pilots, this is command," came the voice of Captain Ben Parker over the radio. "We are about to jump to hyperspace. Remember, we do not know what we will find when we arrive. Be ready for anything." Chief Engineer Maria Santos worked in the engine rooms deep inside the Defiance. Human faster-than-light technology was different from what the aliens used. Where alien ships gently folded space around themselves, human drives tore holes directly through reality. The process was violent and dangerous, but it was also much faster. The journey that would take alien fleets weeks to complete would be finished by humans in just a few days. Maria monitored the massive engines as they prepared to rip open space-time itself. "Engine room to bridge," Maria reported to Admiral Rodriguez. "All drives are ready for jump. Warning: the alien data suggests their FTL technology is much gentler than ours. We might alarm them when we arrive." "Let them be alarmed," Kate replied. "Better they know what they are dealing with from the start." Dr. Richard Hayes studied the alien tactical data from his laboratory ship, the UES Discovery. As the fleet's chief scientist, his job was to understand the enemy they were about to face. What he learned worried him greatly. The Void Swarm appeared to be a collective intelligence made up of millions of machine units. They moved together like a liquid, flowing around obstacles and reforming after taking damage. Their tactics focused on absorbing enemy ships and using their materials to build more swarm units. But what troubled Richard most was how the aliens were fighting back. Every Galactic Council battle plan he reviewed focused on precision strikes and minimal destruction. They seemed to treat warfare like a careful surgical operation, trying to damage the enemy without causing unnecessary harm. They fight like they believe in fair play, Richard muttered to himself as he read another alien battle report. They have rules about what weapons can be used and how battles should be conducted. Commander Lisa Thompson worked in the fleet's Cyber Warfare Center. Her job was to understand how the Void Swarm controlled its millions of units. The alien data suggested that the swarm used a hive mind system that connected all of its parts into a single thinking entity. Lisa discovered something interesting in the alien reports. Several Council species had tried to fight the swarm with computer viruses and electronic warfare. All of these attempts had failed badly. In fact, the swarm seemed able to take control of alien computer systems and turn them against their creators. Admiral, Lisa reported to Kate, the aliens have been losing the electronic warfare battle completely. The swarm can hack into their systems and control their ships. Can they do the same to us? Kate asked. I do not think so, Lisa replied. Our computer systems are designed differently. Human programming is chaotic and unpredictable compared to alien systems. We might actually have an advantage there. As the fleet prepared for the hyperspace jump, Captain Tony Garcia briefed his bomber crews aboard the UES Hammer. His squadron flew the largest attack ships in the human fleet, massive vessels loaded with the most destructive weapons humanity could build. Listen up, Tony told his pilots. The aliens have been fighting this thing for months and getting nowhere. That means we need to try something they have not thought of. Our job is to hit the enemy harder than they have ever been hit before. The bomber crews checked their weapons loads, antimatter torpedoes that could vaporize entire city blocks, electromagnetic pulse bombs designed to disrupt electronic systems, nuclear mines that could be dropped directly into enemy formations. Every weapon was designed for maximum destruction. Captain Steve Murphy commanded the destroyer UES Vengeance. His ship was smaller than the major warships, but it was fast and heavily armed. Steve's job was to scout ahead of the main fleet and provide early warning of enemy movements. As the final countdown began, Steve looked at the star charts showing their destination. The Kepler 442 system was completely unknown to humanity until a few days ago. Now they were about to travel there to fight a war against an enemy they had never seen. All ships, this is Admiral Rodriguez, came the announcement over fleet communications. Prepare for hyperspace jump in 60 seconds. Remember, we are representing all of humanity in this battle. Show the galaxy what Earth is capable of. The massive engines of 200 warships began to glow with energy. Space around the fleet started to distort as the hyperspace drives powered up. The effect was visible from Earth as reality itself bent around the human armada. Jump drive activated, Maria reported from the engine room. Tearing hyperspace portal in 3, 2, 1. The fabric of space split open like torn cloth. Through the glowing rift, the human fleet could see twisted dimensions beyond normal reality. One by one, the warships plunged through the portal, disappearing from Earth's solar system. The journey through hyperspace was violent and chaotic. Human ships were built to survive the trip, but the experience was still terrifying. Reality shifted around them as they traveled between dimensions at speeds that should have been impossible. Admiral Rodriguez stood firmly on her bridge as the Defiance shook and groaned around her. She thought about the alien species they were going to help. These beings had achieved faster-than-light travel, energy weapons, and galactic civilization. But they were losing a war against machines. Soon the galaxy would learn that humanity approached warfare very differently than any other species. Where aliens fought with precision and honor, humans fought to win at any cost. The Void Swarm was about to discover why Earth had spent centuries perfecting the art of total war. The hyperspace jump would take 3 days. When it ended, the human fleet would emerge in a star system under siege, ready to show the galaxy what devastation really looked like. The human fleet burst out of hyperspace at the edge of the Kepler 442 system, like an explosion of metal and fire. Admiral Kate Rodriguez watched the main display as her ships emerged from the glowing portal one by one. What she saw in the system ahead made her jaw clench with anger. 3 planets were gone, reduced to floating debris and dark metal structures that moved like living things. The Void Swarm had consumed entire worlds, turning their matter into more of itself. In the distance, she could see the remaining Galactic Council fleet fighting desperately around the 4th planet. Tactical report, Kate ordered. Admiral, we count over 2 million swarm units. reported Lieutenant Sarah Davis from the sensor station. The alien fleet has maybe 300 ships left. They are completely surrounded. Captain Ben Parker studied the alien ships through his scope. They were beautiful vessels, designed with flowing curves and bright colors. Their weapons fired precise beams of energy that barely scratched the dark swarm units. It was like watching artists trying to fight monsters. "Open a channel to the Council flagship," Kate commanded. The main screen flickered to life, showing a being unlike anything humans had ever seen. Admiral Zixthara was a crystalline creature that seemed to be made of living glass. Its voice came through the translator with obvious relief. "Unknown vessels, this is Admiral Zixthara of the Galactic Council. Are you the beings from Sol 3? We did not expect you to arrive so quickly." "This is Admiral Rodriguez of the Earth Defense Force," Kate replied. "We received your distress signal. What is your current tactical situation?" The alien admiral paused, studying the human ships through its sensors. "Admiral Rodriguez, your vessel signatures are beyond our understanding. The energy readings from your weapons are off our measurement scales. Surely you do not intend to use nuclear devices in space combat?" Kate almost smiled. "Nuclear weapons are our light armaments, Admiral. Wait until you see the antimatter torpedoes." The silence that followed was telling. Captain Jake Williams, who was listening from the marine deck, shook his head. These aliens had no idea what they had asked for when they called Earth for help. "Admiral," the crystalline being continued carefully, "we must inform you of the Galactic War Conventions. There are rules that govern how battles may be conducted. Weapons of mass destruction are forbidden. Unnecessary damage to planetary bodies is prohibited. Combat must be conducted with honor and restraint." Admiral Rodriguez looked around her bridge at the human officers. Commander Lisa Thompson was running electronic scans of the swarm units. Dr. Richard Hayes was analyzing their structure through the ship's sensors. Every human face showed the same expression: disbelief. "Admiral Zixthara," Kate said slowly, "let me understand this correctly. Your enemy has consumed 3 entire star systems, including all life on those worlds. They are currently attempting to do the same to the 4th planet, and you are worried about fighting with honor? The conventions exist to prevent the total destruction that leads to galactic warfare," the alien explained. "We must maintain civilized standards even in combat." Captain Tony Garcia was listening from his bomber squadron. His ships were loaded with enough firepower to crack planets in half. The idea that anyone would limit themselves while fighting for survival made no sense to him. "Admiral," came another voice over the communication channel. This was Fleet Commander Kethron of the Hegemony, another council species. "Perhaps these humans do not understand. The Void Swarm adapts to whatever weapons are used against it. Overwhelming force has been tried before and failed." Dr. Hayes stepped forward to address the alien commanders. "We have analyzed your tactical data. Your energy weapons are absorbed and redirected by the swarm units. Your computer systems are being hacked and turned against you. Your ships are being captured and converted into more enemy units." "That is correct," Admiral Zixthara confirmed sadly. "We have lost over 60% of our combined fleets." "Then you have been fighting them wrong," Dr. Hayes said bluntly. "The swarm is a collective intelligence that relies on networked communication and energy absorption. You need to disrupt their coordination and use weapons they cannot absorb." Lieutenant Commander Alex Chen launched his fighter patrol to get a closer look at the enemy. His Valkyrie squadron flew past the alien ships, and he could hear the council pilots chattering on their communication channels. "Did you see the size of those fighters?" one alien pilot transmitted. "They look like armored cargo haulers." "The humans seem to prioritize protection over speed," another replied. "Very primitive approach." Alex grinned inside his helmet. "Let them think human ships were primitive. They would learn differently soon enough." Captain Steve Murphy's destroyer moved ahead of the main fleet to scout the swarm positions. His sensors detected something the aliens had missed: weak electromagnetic signals coming from the center of each swarm cluster. These appeared to be command nodes that controlled the surrounding units. "Admiral, I think I found their weak point," Steve reported. "The swarm units are being coordinated by central control nodes. If we can disrupt those signals, the individual units might become confused." Commander Lisa Thompson confirmed the finding from her analysis station. "Sir, the swarm communication system uses quantum entanglement networks. Very advanced, but they have a critical flaw. The signals can be jammed by specific electromagnetic frequencies." Admiral Zixthara's fleet continued to fight according to their rules. firing precise energy beams that were absorbed harmlessly by the swarm. Meanwhile, more council ships were being captured and converted every minute. Admiral Rodriguez, came the alien transmission. We insist that you follow the Galactic War Conventions. Any violation will result in charges before the council tribunals after this conflict ends. Kate had heard enough. She opened a fleet-wide communication channel so every human ship could hear her response. Admiral Zixthera, I appreciate your concern for proper procedures. However, Earth did not sign your conventions and we are not bound by your rules. You called us for help because your methods are not working. We will handle this situation using human military doctrine. What does that mean? The crystalline being asked with obvious worry. It means, Kate replied coldly, that we fight to win. If you cannot accept that, then withdraw your ships to minimum safe distance. We are about to show you why humanity has never lost a war when we fought seriously. The alien fleet began to pull back, their commanders clearly disturbed by the human approach. Captain Ben Parker watched them retreat and felt a moment of sadness. These beings had achieved space travel, formed a galactic civilization and maintained peace for centuries. But they had never learned how to fight a real war. All ships prepare for combat, Admiral Rodriguez announced to the human fleet. Rules of engagement are simple. Destroy everything that moves against us. Though prisoners, no negotiations, no mercy, the Void Swarm chose to threaten innocent worlds. Now they face the consequences. The human fleet began to move forward, their weapons charging and their crews preparing for battle. The galaxy was about to learn that some species approach warfare very differently than others. In the distance, the Void Swarm seemed to sense the new arrivals. Dark metal tendrils began reaching toward the human ships, ready to absorb and convert these new vessels like all the others. They had no idea what was coming for them. The battle began when the Void Swarm launched 1,000,000 metallic drones toward the human fleet. Admiral Zixthera and the other council commanders expected the newcomers to retreat and regroup, just as any civilized fleet would do when facing overwhelming numbers. Instead, the humans charged directly into the swarm. All ships, execute Sherman Protocol, Admiral Kate Rodriguez commanded from the bridge of the Defiance. The protocol was named after a general from Earth's history who believed that war should be made so terrible that enemies would never want to fight again. Captain Tony Garcia's bomber squadron was the first to engage. His massive ships, loaded with experimental weapons, flew straight into the heart of the swarm formation. The alien observers watched in shock as the human bombers ignored the drones attacking them and focused on their primary targets. Releasing electromagnetic pulse warheads, Tony announced to his squadron. Dr. Richard Hayes had designed these weapons specifically to exploit the swarm's communication weaknesses. Each bomb created a burst of electromagnetic energy that disrupted quantum signals across a wide area. The effect was immediate and devastating. Entire sections of the Void Swarm began to writhe and convulse as their coordination systems failed. Drones that had moved with perfect unity suddenly began crashing into each other and firing randomly. Direct hit on the command nodes, reported Captain Steve Murphy from his destroyer. The swarm units in Sectors 7 through 12 have lost coordination completely. Admiral Zixthera watched the battle from the safety of the withdrawal position. How did they know to target the communication hubs? The crystalline being asked its tactical officers. We never detected those signals, Lieutenant. Commander Alex Chen led fighter, Squadron Omega, through the chaos of the disrupted swarm. His Valkyrie fighters used kinetic weapons that the enemy had never encountered before. Instead of energy beams that could be absorbed, the human fighters fired solid metal slugs at incredible speeds. The results were spectacular. Swarm drones that had shrugged off alien energy weapons were torn apart by kinetic impacts. The dark metal that had seemed invulnerable cracked and shattered under the brutal hammering of human ammunition. This is Alpha Leader, Alex reported over the squadron channel. Kinetic weapons are extremely effective. The swarm cannot absorb solid matter moving at these velocities. Commander Lisa Thompson monitored the electronic warfare battle from her station on the Defiance. The swarm was attempting to hack into human computer systems, just as it had done to the alien fleets. But human programming was fundamentally different from alien code. Admiral, the swarm is trying to infiltrate our networks, Lisa reported, but our security systems are confusing them. Human programming is too chaotic and unpredictable for their algorithms to understand. Where alien computer systems were elegant and logical, human programming was a mess of patches, workarounds, and defensive measures developed through centuries of cyber warfare on Earth. The swarm's infiltration programs, designed to exploit ordered alien thinking, crashed when they encountered human chaos. Captain Ben Parker's heavy cruiser, the UES Thunder, moved into close combat range with a cluster of swarm capital ships. These massive enemy vessels had destroyed dozens of Council dreadnoughts with their absorption techniques. "All batteries open fire," Ben commanded. The Thunder's main guns were railguns that fired solid projectiles at a significant fraction of light speed. The swarm ships tried to absorb the incoming fire, but kinetic energy at those velocities could not be redirected safely. The first swarm capital ship exploded in a shower of dark metal fragments. The second tried to retreat but was caught by a spread of antimatter torpedoes from the human destroyer squadron. The explosion lit up the battlefield like a small star. Admiral Rodriguez coordinated the fleet's assault while monitoring reports from all sectors. Human ships were designed for this kind of brutal, close-range combat. Their thick armor absorbed damage that would have destroyed the elegant alien vessels. "Missile Cruiser Squadron, target the swarm processing centers," Kate ordered. Commander Nancy Lee's ships launched waves of antimatter torpedoes toward the largest enemy concentrations. Each explosion vaporized thousands of swarm units and created electromagnetic pulses that disrupted their neighbors. The Galactic Council fleet watched in amazement as the humans systematically destroyed an enemy that had seemed unstoppable. But what shocked the alien observers most was not just the effectiveness of human weapons, but the ruthless way they were used. "They are not taking any prisoners," observed Fleet Commander Kethran. "They are destroying every swarm unit they encounter, even ones that are trying to surrender." "Machines cannot surrender," Captain Jake Williams replied over the communication channel. "And we learned long ago that some enemies must be eliminated completely, or they will return stronger than before." Dr. Hayes monitored the battle from his research ship, collecting data on swarm technology and human weapon effectiveness. His analysis confirmed what he had suspected. The aliens had been fighting a defensive war, trying to minimize damage and preserve as much as possible. Humanity fought differently. When humans went to war, they fought to end the threat permanently, regardless of the cost. The swarm had adapted to alien tactics over months of combat, but human methods were completely outside their experience. "Admiral, the swarm is beginning to retreat," reported Tactical Officer Lieutenant Sarah Davis. "They are attempting to withdraw to the outer system." "Negative," Admiral Rodriguez replied coldly. "Launch the planet crackers." "Nothing escapes." The final human weapons were beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. Chief Engineer Maria Santos had worked for months to develop devices that could destabilize matter at the stellar level. These weapons were designed to stop any enemy from ever returning. "Sir," came a worried transmission from Admiral Zixthera. "What are planet crackers?" "Weapons that create artificial supernovas," Kate answered matter-of-factly. "We use them to sterilize entire star systems when facing extinction-level threats." The silence that followed this announcement was profound. Every alien in the Council fleet suddenly understood that they had not just called for help from another species. They had summoned something from their worst nightmares. Captain Tony Garcia's bombers delivered the planet cracker devices to strategic positions around the retreating swarm fleet. The weapons were massive, each one the size of a small spacecraft. When they detonated, they would create chain reactions that turned ordinary matter into stellar fire. "All ships, withdraw to minimum safe distance," Admiral Rodriguez ordered the human fleet. "Planet crackers will detonate in 60 seconds. The Galactic Council ships fled to the edge of the star system, their crews terrified of what was about to happen. Some species had legends about weapons that could destroy stars, but no one had ever actually seen such things used. The detonation, when it came, was visible from neighboring star systems. Artificial stars bloomed in space where the swarm fleet had been, consuming everything in their path with cosmic fire. The enemy that had terrorized the galaxy for months was erased from existence in seconds. When the light faded, nothing remained of the void swarm except scattered atoms and the memory of their threat. The human fleet regrouped in the aftermath, their crews checking damage reports and ammunition levels. "Threat eliminated," Admiral Rodriguez reported to the Council fleet. "All swarm units in this system have been destroyed. No survivors detected." The galaxy had just witnessed the complete annihilation of a force that had seemed unstoppable, and they had learned that when humanity fought seriously, They fought to win permanently. The age of galactic warfare had ended before most species even knew it had begun. In the aftermath of the battle, space around the Kepler 442 system glowed with the residual energy of artificial stars. The Void Swarm, a terror that had consumed entire civilizations, no longer existed. Where millions of dark machines had threatened the galaxy, now there was only empty space and drifting particles. Admiral Kate Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the Defiance, watching her fleet regroup after the most decisive battle in galactic history. Human ships showed battle damage, but none had been lost. Their thick armor and brutal tactics had proven superior to alien precision and the swarm's absorption techniques. Admiral Zixathera's crystalline form appeared on the communication screen, its translator struggling to process the being's emotional state. "Admiral Rodriguez," the alien commander began slowly, "in 6 hours you have accomplished what our combined fleets could not achieve in 6 months. How is this possible?" Captain Jake Williams stepped forward to answer. His Marine forces had not been needed in the space battle, but his understanding of warfare went beyond simple tactics. "Admiral, your species fight to preserve and protect. You have rules about honor and limiting destruction. We fight to eliminate threats permanently." "But the cost," protested Fleet Commander Kethran over the channel. "The energy you expended could have powered our homeworlds for centuries. The weapons you used could destroy entire star systems." Dr. Richard Hayes joined the conversation from his research ship. "Commander, in human military doctrine, there is no such thing as overkill when facing an extinction-level threat." The Void Swarm had consumed 3 star systems and was moving toward populated worlds. Complete destruction was the only acceptable outcome. The alien commanders struggled to understand this concept. Their civilizations had evolved beyond primitive warfare, developing sophisticated rules and conventions to limit destruction. They fought like surgeons trying to solve problems with minimal harm. Humanity had never outgrown the warrior mindset. When humans fought, they fought to win completely, no matter what it took. The galaxy was beginning to understand what that meant. Commander Lisa Thompson continued monitoring communication channels across the system. What she heard troubled her deeply. Several alien species were already discussing the implications of human military power. "Admiral," Lisa reported quietly, "we are receiving transmissions from Council ships. Some species are calling for immediate restrictions on human weapons. Others are requesting military alliances. Everyone is afraid." Captain Ben Parker understood their fear. His heavy cruiser had destroyed swarm capital ships that had been terrorizing alien fleets for months. The difference in combat effectiveness was not just significant, it was overwhelming. "They invited us to their war," Ben said to his bridge crew. "Now they are worried that we are too good at fighting it." Lieutenant Commander Alex Chen's fighter squadron was conducting post-battle reconnaissance, scanning the debris field where the swarm had been destroyed. His pilots reported finding no intact enemy technology, no survivors, no possibility of the threat returning. "Complete elimination," Alex reported to Admiral Rodriguez. "Whatever the swarm was, it will never threaten anyone again." This finality was something the Galactic Council had not expected. Their own battles with the swarm had been ongoing conflicts with temporary victories and constant retreats. The human approach of total annihilation was foreign to their thinking. Captain Tony Garcia's bomber crews were already reloading their weapon systems, preparing for whatever threat might emerge next. Human military planning always assumed that one enemy's defeat would simply reveal the next challenge. "Admiral," Tony reported, "we have enough antimatter torpedoes remaining to sterilize 12 more star systems. Should we begin patrols to search for other swarm concentrations?" The casual way he discussed such devastating firepower sent shockwaves through the alien observers. These humans spoke of destroying star systems like others might discuss routine maintenance. Admiral Zixathera requested a private communication with Admiral Rodriguez. When the channel was secured, the crystalline being's concern was obvious. "Admiral, my species has existed for over 50,000 years. We have seen the rise and fall of many civilizations, but we have never encountered anything like humanity. Your capacity for destruction is beyond our ability to measure." Kate considered her response carefully. These aliens had called Earth for help, but now they were afraid of what they had summoned. "Admiral, humanity did not choose to be warriors. Our history forced us to become very good at warfare in order to survive. When you called for help against an extinction threat, you received exactly what you asked for. But what happens now?" Zixthera asked. The Void Swarm is destroyed, but humanity now possesses weapons that could threaten every world in the galaxy. How can we trust you? The same way we learned to trust you, Kate replied. By working together and proving that cooperation is better than conflict. Dr. Hayes had been analyzing the political implications of the battle while studying captured swarm technology. His conclusions were not encouraging for galactic stability. Admiral, Richard reported, the demonstration of human military capability has fundamentally altered the balance of power in this galaxy. Every species will now need to decide whether they want humanity as an ally or whether they consider us a threat. Commander Lisa Thompson intercepted communications from several Council species already making that decision. 3 civilizations had quietly transmitted requests for formal military alliances with Earth. 2 others were discussing defensive preparations against potential human expansion. The galaxy is already choosing sides, Lisa informed Admiral Rodriguez. Everyone wants to know what humanity intends to do next. Captain Steve Murphy's destroyer had been monitoring the edge of the star system throughout the battle. His long-range sensors detected something that changed everything. Admiral, I am picking up distress signals from beyond this galaxy, Steve reported. Multiple transmissions, all using the same mathematical protocols as the original Council message. Sir, there are other galaxies out there and they are also under attack. The bridge of the Defiance fell silent as this information sank in. The Void Swarm had not been an isolated threat confined to one galaxy. Whatever force had created them was still out there, threatening other civilizations across the universe. Admiral Rodriguez made a decision that would define humanity's role in the cosmos. Prepare a message for transmission to Earth Command. Inform them that we will need a much larger fleet. Fleet Commander Kethron had been listening to human communications and understood the implications. Admiral Rodriguez, surely you do not intend to fight wars across multiple galaxies? Commander, Kate replied firmly. When someone sends a distress signal asking for help against extinction, humanity responds. It does not matter how far we have to travel or how large the enemy might be. As the human fleet prepared for the journey home, Admiral Zixthara transmitted a final message to Admiral Rodriguez. Admiral, the Galactic Council will meet to discuss humanity's place in our civilization. What should we tell them? Kate thought about the question for a long moment, considering the future relationship between Earth and the galaxy they had just saved. Tell them that humanity seeks peace, but we are very good at war. Tell them that we prefer cooperation, but we will not tolerate threats to innocent life. And tell them that the universe is a dangerous place, and everyone needs friends who know how to fight. The human fleet departed the Kepler 442 system as heroes and conquerors, leaving behind a galaxy that would never be the same. The Galactic Council faced a new reality, where the most powerful military force in their region belonged to a species they had barely known existed. But in the depths of space, more distress signals continued to arrive from distant galaxies, carrying the same desperate message that had brought humanity to the stars. Help us. We are dying. The age of human expansion had begun and the universe was about to learn that when Earth went to war, peace was the only acceptable outcome.